going to be sending around a sign-up sheet. I wanted to let everybody know without a doubt that I am in this for very, very selfish reasons. Number one, I'm fighting tooth and nail to get my granddaughter back. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I just, like everyone else, you get to a point where you just have to leave it in the hands of a higher power. But that is my first and foremost reason, is to get my granddaughter back. The second reason is I never, ever want this to happen to another child, children, or family. Ever, ever again. So the sign-up sheet is for coalitions, and if you want to be on the legislative drafting committee and work with some politicians and some really smart lawyers like we've had here tonight, please do, because the power is in the number of the people, and we are the most committed members of this community. Obviously, you're here tonight. So I want to turn the last part of this meeting over to Carin Johnson.
Good evening. I did my calculations. I've been doing this for 21 years. Bob is 22. And when I was in law school, I knew that I wanted to help people that didn't have a voice, but I wasn't quite sure what that would be. So naturally, I went to criminal defense work, and I did some CPS work right when I started. Super brand new. But I didn't realize when I was doing CPS work in the beginning that I was really helping those who didn't have a voice, because I believe the whole CPS principle that they're there to help. So in my criminal defense work, I did that for many years along with CPS, and now all I do is CPS, and it's because it really is my passion. I love it. And I thought back to law school, and I realized I took a juvenile law class when I was in law school. Never quite put this together. But it was always me versus the entire classroom. And I was always the one that disagreed with the group, the mass. The teacher loved me, but I feel like that's what I'm still doing today. I'm the one, along with Bob, along with Jerry, fighting the mass mentality. And I'm still doing it today. I absolutely love it. I don't care what they think about it. I know I'm doing the right thing. So it's what I get up every day to do. I don't think I even have a criminal defense case left. It's just all CPS work. Today on the radio a lot of times, or I think sometimes on milk cartons, you'll see advertisements for foster care. Like CPS, you hear these things on the radio. How they're there to help these families. And I had my kids in my car, taking them all home from school, and one of these advertisements came up on the radio about foster care and CPS and all the goodness and everything, and my kids were like, uh-oh. And I hear this voice. It was a little kid saying, "I miss my home," and another little kid saying, "I miss my pillow." And it was about donating some things to give to these children in foster care. So when they said, "I miss my home, I miss my pillow," I see my kids. I see them over there. And I go, "Then give them back to their parents." So my kids, they hear this all the time. I do it all day long. They hear me in the kitchen when I come home from work, talking about the injustice, the flawed logic, all the time. So who knows what my kids will end up doing, but they're definitely going to be outspoken. So right now I just want to give a little heads up on the state of affairs in the court system. It's absolutely dismal. There is nothing good to say about what I see every single day in the courtroom. I practice CPS cases all over the state of California. I have a case in Redding, I've got a case in San Diego, I've got cases all over the place. And it's basically the same everywhere. It's attorneys that are paid by, some are still paid on the county budget, some are paid by these contract organizations that lowball a number, hire very few lawyers to run a ton of cases through. They pay them, I don't think the pay is that bad, but I'll tell you one thing, they don't return phone calls, they don't fight their cases, they don't read their cases, they don't prepare, they don't fight, they don't go to trial. Once in a while, you'll see one of these lawyers go to trial, but it's really, really rare. And you might say, well, do you have to go to trial? Frankly, the only time you're ever going to get the truth out about what's going on, the truth behind that report full of facts that aren't true and things that people didn't say and assessments about people that are true, is to go to trial. Put the social worker on the stand. Call an expert. You'll see a whole different scenario. I promise. I promise. It's not what they have in the report. It's completely different. But, you know, I've just met Jerry like a couple days ago, actually, through a radio station, and I get to see him live, which is awesome. I'm so happy to be in his presence. And Bob Powell, we actually have a case together right now. He's awesome, and he sees things kind of the way I do. And, you know, if you want to get the truth out, you have to go to trial. So, but there's only a few lawyers that, you know, will do it, or even have the courage to do it, or know how to try a case. So it's this, you know, little dot in a mass, right? This little voice in a mass of county attorneys that submit to petitions and say, we'll just submit to the report, but sir, it's incorrect. We'll talk about that later, client. We'll talk about that later. Just, you know, go along with the program. Well, there is no talking about it later. They don't return their phone calls. There's no talking about it later. You're stuck. You are who they say you are. You did what they said you did, and you better correct it. That is the state of affairs. I see it everywhere. It's absolutely disgusting. I sit in courtrooms, and I'm just back there shaking my head, doing this. Oh my God, did that guy really say that? You know, doing this in court. So I have a really cool story, though. A really cool story. So before I tell the story, I want to tell you some principles. So when CPS takes the children from the family for whatever they did or didn't do, okay, I see all over the state that the court will order no visitation for the parent and the child. 0. Take the kid or the kids and no visitation. No visitation until we get some allegations for the jurisdictional state. No visitation until we get you to submit to whatever it is that you did wrong. That to me is unfathomable. It's horrible. It's cruel. It's sickening. It makes me sick. So I had a case where a client came to me, had a really good lawyer, but he didn't know juvenile dependency that well. So they came to me and hired me to help his lawyer. And he told me that he hadn't seen his kids in 6 months. And I said, what do you mean you haven't seen your kid in 6 months? They won't let me see my kids. I'm like, what? That's illegal. It is? Yeah. Yes. That's illegal. So I filed a motion, went to court, and the judge agreed with me. He was an intelligent judge. And no one opposed my motion. Nobody opposed they all just sat there. Because they all knew it to be true. But they all just sat there. And I was like, why didn't somebody say something? You, county council, why didn't you speak up and tell the court what the law was? Because I will actually talk to them like that. Because that's just how I am. Why didn't you speak up about this? You don't have any objection? Why didn't somebody say something to the judge earlier? He was kind of a new judge in the area, in this area of law. And they just let it happen. Who does that? Who just sits there and lets that happen. That to me is completely disgusting. So, parents have a fundamental right to parent. Children have a fundamental right to be parented by their parents. Those are fundamental rights. A lot of lawyers and judges don't even know that. So, this is my story. It's really good. Okay. So the other day, one of the county, well, it's like a contract lawyer for a county, was sick, and she's a friend of mine from doing private practice. Now she does county stuff, or she's on a contract, and she was making her first appearance for another attorney who had to get off the case. So anyway, she goes, "I'm sick, can you appear for me on this county case? You know, I know you're a private lawyer or whatever, appear for me on this because I'm sick." Well, I was there anyway, and I said, "Of course, sure. Sure, I can do this stuff in my sleep, I'll appear for you." So I appear, and I appear and I'm representing the minors. Yes, okay. I am now in a position, a great position, that if anybody's messing up, I'm representing the minors. I'm the minor's voice. Okay, I get to be the minor's voice. So, they call the case and they agree to some settlement. The father agrees to some settlement, but I'm the minor's attorney. I have anything to say about that. And the judge said, okay, well, so there's no visitation in this case. So is the no visitation order still in effect? And I said, excuse me, no visitation for the minors and the father? Well, I object. I'm recommending visitation. I'm requesting that the court order visitation for these minors and their father. And they said, oh, well, do anybody object to that? And I'm ready to say, launch into my fundamental right argument. Nobody says anything. So the dad looks over and was like, who is that? And I was like, yeah, I want visitation, and I want phone calls, and he should have the ability to send his children cards and letters. That's what I like. Because I'm minors counsel today. That's what they should do every single time they go to court. But I had that opportunity, and I was running with it, and nobody was objecting. Because if they did, I would have won the argument if they tried to object to me anyway. So I help these two little children, 5 and 8 years old, who haven't seen their dad, see their dad again. And if he messed up, he's dealing with it. But what about the children? These poor little children haven't seen their dad. So I was extremely excited. It was one of the best days I've had in so long because I could be the voice. So I am preparing a document to slip under the chamber's door anonymously. And it's going to have the law. Okay? Okay, you have to make sure there's visitation. It's the law. I'm going to make it a simple document, larger print, super sweet, and just slip it under the door.
Wear gloves.
Wear gloves. No, actually, I hope they know who put it under the door. I'm okay if they know who put it under the door, frankly. I do a lot of pretty extreme cases like shaken baby, a broken bone cases. So Bob had touched on that earlier. That you know, what do you mean broken rib? I can't tell you how many times I see that. What? Broken leg? Well, you are now a child abuser. You are a child abuser. That baby is immobile and his leg is broken. You broke it. No, I didn't break it. There's no bruising. There's no, I've been with people 24 hours. No, you broke the baby's leg. You did it. And we're taking the child from you. Well, there must be some kind of metabolic something going on here. I didn't do it. Oh, you are an abuser. See you later. So, I have had a case, well, one story, down in San Diego, where my client was represented by somebody that had no idea what they were doing, nor did they understand So they had this attorney call me, and he says, well, how am I supposed to